Now at 9, as thousands of people flock to Carthage ahead of Marian Days, we'll see how they're handling the intense heat. Plus, a local HVAC company gives tips to keep your air conditioner in working order. And MoDOT hosts a meeting in Joplin to discuss some of its unfunded projects.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Marian Days is set to begin tomorrow in Carthage. Thousands have already made their way to the city, with some literally setting up tents and camping out. However, high temps this week could make staying cool and safe difficult. KOAM's Anthony Saviello find out what people are doing to beat the heat.
Tents set up as far as the eye can see for Marian Days in Carthage. Thousands already setting up shop before festivities begin.
So I've been here for about a week, so being able to help set up everything has been nice. See how this whole event unfolds. Obviously, there's a lot of work behind it. I'm looking forward to seeing all that come to fruition. See all the people come here and just enjoy the experience here.
However, despite the celebrations, the heat is not letting up.
Colorado is hot, but it's not humid, so it's a whole big shift, you know.
Yeah.
After your showers, you're always feeling really, how do I say it? Just sticky in general, you know. It's horrible.
Most people using hats to fend off the sun's harmful rays. Much of the grounds at the Congregation of the Mother Co-Redemptrix are covered by trees, making shade easily accessible. And with temperatures projected to be in the upper 90s, the shade is essential. Some have also found refuge within the buildings on the campus.
Well, me and my friend John over there, we were just going through the auditoriums, it's just blasting AC in there.
For those who have traveled halfway across the country, the time spent with old friends and creating new ones is worth it.
I think it's great. As a community, the Vietnamese Catholic diaspora, we're very spread out, and the communities that we live in are typically small, but being able to all congregate here and seeing 60,000 of us, we're not alone. There's so many of us here, and it's really beautiful.
Reporting in Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Hope they stay safe. Now, Marian Days will continue through Sunday. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, of course, it was a hot one for us today. Actual high temperature was 97, but heat indices about 105 to 110 across the region. Started very warm at 80, 91 is our average high. Record 104 set back on this date, and still we're sitting mid to upper 80s across the region right now, from 86 Monette, 88 at Grand Lake, 90 in Parsons. Independence is still sitting at 92 degrees. Excessive heat warnings in effect again tomorrow in Kansas, then heat advisories for everybody else. We're pretty calm right now, but we are tracking a big batch of showers and thunderstorms dipping off toward the south and to the east. And some of these guys will get in here later on tonight, especially in our northwestern counties. Jade Center, Fredonia, Chanute, up toward Iola. Some of them could be fairly strong as they push through, but staying mainly along and north of I-44. But we could get a few through Pittsburgh into Joplin later on tonight. Of course, we're going to break this all down for you here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, high temperatures put extra strain on air conditioning units, and this makes HVAC repair businesses more busy during this time of year. KOAM's Melissa Alexis went to an AC repair call in Pittsburgh to learn more.
One of those neck wraps that you can wet, just to help make it more bearable.
With the high temperatures, it can be difficult to stay cool. But for the Worsley family, the heat is extra difficult because their air conditioner is broken.
It does feel muggy. It just feels like stale air.
I rode along with the Wallace Heating and Air HVAC professionals who are repairing the Worsley family's AC unit.
Ripping out the old system, putting the new system in.
Chris Wallace says it's important to do maintenance on your AC unit before something breaks.
Preventive measures you could take is taking a hose outside and run it over your condenser and make sure those coils on the outside are clean.
He says AC units, like the one right here, are in overdrive during summer months, and ordering a replacement part can take weeks to come in, leaving families struggling in the heat.
With working from home, it can get tiring. I need to obviously look, decent and, feel comfortable sitting at a desk and being on camera. I'm on Zoom meetings.
Wallace says during summer months, their company sees a huge uptick in AC repair calls. He recommends turning your AC down while away from the home for long periods of time.
The more you kick it off and on, it's like a light switch. You're running its value up and down, and then eventually it's going to go out.
He says yearly maintenance checks are important and could help you avoid a lingering problem that could lead to an even more expensive repair. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Wallace also encourages people to clean their AC filter and change it out when necessary. Well, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly visited Independence today to help break ground on an expansion and renovation project at the Labette Health Independence Healthcare Center. The $7.9 million expansion will include a new cancer infusion center, rural health clinic, and patient testing labs. It will also provide upgrades to the emergency department, ultrasound services, and add 17 patient exam rooms. Construction is expected to be completed by June 1st of next year. MoDOT invited the public to a meeting concerning needs in the region. The meeting took place today at the Public Safety Training Facility in Joplin. MoDOT asked the public to weigh in on the list of needs from around the state and provide feedback to help establish future funding priorities. MoDOT officials say this is an annual process.
If there's a concern, again, we do this every year, so there's a time every year we're updating priorities, updating our identification of what needs to be done, and so new needs can come onto the list in a subsequent year.
Comments can be submitted through August 23rd using the comment form we've provided on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, coming up, how some young area athletes are battling the heat to train for the upcoming season. Well, cases of West Nile virus are being detected in humans in several parts of the U.S., with some turning deadly. While Texas currently has more human cases of West Nile than any other state, Michigan is reporting its first human case of the virus this year. The news comes on the heels of a deadly case in California's Bay Area. Health experts say there are things you can do to stay safe.
One thing that does help us here in the United States versus other countries where you have mosquito-borne diseases is we tend to have better housing, screens on our windows, perhaps air conditioning. All of that helps reduce exposure to mosquitoes. But other things you can do is to wear insect repellent.
The CDC says 70 to 80% of people infected with West Nile virus do not develop any symptoms, and those who do might experience mild sickness, body aches, fever, or headaches. Well, the school year is right around the corner, which means sports camps are underway across the country, and during a week of miserable temperatures and high humidity. All of these factors come into play to determine how long these young athletes can safely stay outside. Nicolette Zangara has more from a sports camp in Springfield.
It's very hot. Don't want to get lightheaded and stuff like that, so.
As one could imagine, playing a physically demanding sport in this kind of heat can be dangerous. Matthew Butler, an incoming freshman, has been playing football since he was 5. While he's used to fighting through these elements, it still has an impact on his performance.
It slows you down a little bit, but you just got to toughen up, Just got to go out there and play your hardest.
Cox Health was on standby measuring the wet bulb globe temperature to ensure the players were safe in the heat. But what does that temperature mean? It takes into account sun angle, wind speed, humidity, and the surface temperature to determine working conditions for those outside.
Helps us in giving coaches what they need to do as far as equipment wear, or how frequent they have water breaks and how long those should be.
The watering hole was certainly the hot spot, so to speak, at today's football camp, and there was no shortage of umbrellas to provide shade to those watching from the sidelines. By the end of the camp, the wet bulb globe temperature was nearing 92, which Taylor says that's when it's time to move inside. Luckily, there wasn't any cases of heat exhaustion or heat stroke, which would have resulted in the athlete getting dunked into a cold tank of water.
We were able to dodge the bullet on that and just dealt with some other injuries on the day.
All of the players at the camp said it was well stocked with water, and the only condition to play in that's worse than this is snow. I don't know about that. Well, nearly a third of adolescents received mental health treatment in 2023, and that's according to a survey from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. 8.3 million children 12 to 17 years old are getting counseling, medication, or another treatment. That's an increase of more than 500,000 kids from 2022. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later folks in Riverton, Kansas gather to send their local Little League team to Indiana for the Little League World Series Regionals.
Well, of course, hot, humid for us today. Temperatures upper 90s. Heat indices 105 to about 112 during the afternoon. It's still hot outside right now. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking downtown Joplin, 7th and Joplin Street, off toward the northeast through downtown. Pretty much clear skies, but we're going to get some clouds in here a little bit later on tonight. All right, look at this. Upper 80s to near 90 once you get into our western counties. Still, you can see the cloud deck kind of increasing to our north and to our west. That's some thunderstorms in the distance that will start to affect us later on tonight. 88 south winds at about 5 to 10. Still heat indices low to upper. It still feels like 102 in Yates Center, and it's dark outside. It's been kind of breezy today. Southerly winds kind of kicking in 5 to 10 to 15. It will stay on the breezy side as we go through tonight. Excessive heat warnings in effect again tomorrow, especially on the Kansas side and then down through northeastern Oklahoma. Everybody else in the orange, that is a heat advisory for us. And we look fine right now, but we are tracking thunderstorms to our north. On the corner of your screen, you can see the orange box, severe thunderstorm watch, and then in the yellow, these are all severe thunderstorm warnings. These are all wind makers as they drive off toward the east. So if we look really from moving into Topeka, down to Emporia, and this line will clip into our northern counties, especially along and north of I-44 later on tonight. So some of you are going to get some rain. High pressure to our south, so we get these waves that kind of rotate around the high, but we'll take it. We could use a little bit of rain. Let me walk you through time. Here they come, plowing in. Here's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Some of these storms could pack a little bit of a punch, maybe a couple low-grade severe thunderstorm warnings affecting Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute down to Parsons, Iola, moving into Fort Scott, Nevada, even Pittsburgh as we go through the night. You can see these drive southeast along the I-44 corridor. So I do think we'll even get a few scattered thunderstorms into the Joplin metro as well. Then they're going to push east. We're going to have a few hit and miss storms in the morning. May get a random guy that pops up in the afternoon, but mainly hot and humid again into the upper 90s for highs. Tomorrow night, some scattered thunderstorms pop up again, but this is mainly going to affect our southern counties. And as a front drops through, this means a little bit cooler. It's going to be hot, but a little bit better as we go into Friday afternoon. Day planner for you Thursday, 78 start, 91 by noon, 95 by 4. High temp right around 98 degrees. Heat indices are going to be out there as well. Heat index tomorrow about 106 to 112. So again, if you're going to be outside, make sure you drink plenty of fluids. Alert day tomorrow due to those high heat indices. And then it looks better. It's still going to be hot, but 94, 93, 96, not terrible as we head into the weekend before triple-digit heat moves back in again for us next week. So at least for Marion days, even though tomorrow's an alert day, we're getting a little better as we head into the weekend. And the humidity is going to drop too.
That's a little bit of relief. And
yeah.
I keep talking about those nighttime temperatures. Like if you are in a tent at night too,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to get a little bit of relief.
Yeah, our low tonight's only going to be about 80.
Yeah, that's miserable.
Yeah.
And they do have showers and lots of water and sources and things
good.
like that. So that's good. Of course, there's other things out there where there's lots of heat too, including the Crawford County Fair, which kicked off today in Girard, Kansas. It features tons of events, including animal judging, live music, and a Barnyard Olympics. Now, we sent photojournalist Ty Parks to take it all in.
So the judge has a certain thing that they look for, and so we bring in outside judges from outside the county to take a look at the foods that are brought in. They look for things like texture and taste. The judges probably have the best job in the food and food preservation group because they get to taste everything that comes in as far as baked goods, and then they evaluate the canned goods from the preservation side from the different university guidelines like headspace on a jar and how well it's filled and if there's any bubbles or if the chunks aren't consistent in the vegetables that they're processing. A lot of people wonder, how do judges tell? You can tell by the type of crust. You can tell by the care that they put into actually making the pie, and definitely you can tell by the taste.
So our main mission is to support the Angels Among Us, which is the nonprofit organization that provides funds for local cancer patients fighting cancer. We help patients afford wigs, we supply gas cards, help with grocery bills. So that's what the Angels Cafe, that is during the week of the fair, supports. Last year we raised it was a little under 20,000. All our money stays local. Nobody is paid to do this job. It's all 100% volunteers. So all our profits go to support that. And plus, it's really good fried chicken.
Well, the Crawford County Fair runs through Saturday. I'm hungry for chicken now. Well, coming up, lawmakers propose a new bill aimed at lowering the cost of childcare. As expected, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell today announced interest rates are staying put. But he signaled a cut could be on the horizon. Powell says a cut could come in 2 months as long as the economy trends in the right direction. The Fed has kept interest rates elevated for 2 years in an attempt to ease rising prices. A bipartisan group of senators is introducing legislation aimed at lowering the cost of child care. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from Washington.
With the cost of childcare spiraling out of control for many families, help could be on the way from lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Senator Tim Kaine, a Democrat from Virginia, and Katie Britt, a Republican from Alabama, are teaming up for a new bipartisan proposal released Wednesday, a series of bills that would modify existing tax credits to help parents afford childcare and introduce a new program to help keep childcare workers in their jobs, with average pay for the industry hovering at just above $30,000 a year.
If this industry collapses, and I would say we're on the verge of collapse, a major collapse, it's going to have a detrimental impact on our workforce and our economy.
Childcare has been a major factor in lowering the labor force participation rate in recent years. Those costs are rising at almost double the rate of inflation, creating a barrier for parents who want to go back to work.
If entering the workforce or re-emerging into it, if an impediment to that is that you cannot afford childcare, then we as a nation have got to figure that out and do better.
The senators say they think they have enough support to get their bill passed in the Senate, but it faces an uncertain future in the House, with some Republican spending hawks saying the government can't afford to pay for childcare.
There's no way you can pay for it. We're already $35 trillion in debt.
The Senate is expected to vote Thursday on a separate bill that would expand the child tax credit. Most Republicans say they plan to vote against it. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, a new lawsuit accuses StubHub, the world's largest ticket marketplace, of preying on consumers using a deceptive practice called drip pricing. That's when customers don't find out about expensive fees until the last step before buying a ticket. Washington, D.C.'s Attorney General is suing StubHub. The complaint accuses the company of bait-and-switch practices.
So you think consumers are being misled? Are they being taken advantage of?
StubHub intentionally misleads consumers by deceptively offering a low price at the front end, luring them into a long, protracted buying process.
California is one of the few states with laws now requiring upfront pricing, but StubHub says that in most states, their marketing practices are legal. Up next, we'll meet a young local lemonade stand owner raising money for kids battling life-threatening diseases. Well, some kids in Pittsburgh have a big idea for staying cool and helping others. Nana's House played host to a grand kid-operated lemonade stand today, and they raked in the bucks. And what made the event even sweeter was the kids' decision to donate the money raised to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. and some local fundraisers for kids in need.
It sounded fun, and I did it at daycare once, and I thought it was really fun. I just like helping people, and I feel like it makes me a kind person.
Now, according to Nana, also known as Karen Thomas, the kids raised $156 for St. Jude, and they gladly will take more donations. Love fresh lemonade. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Authorities investigate what led up to a train hitting a car stuck on the tracks in Neosho, Missouri. Plus, Donald Trump gets back on the campaign trail, taking questions at a meeting of the National Association of Black Journalists.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Authorities in Neosho investigate a collision between a train and a car. And the report came in around 9:30 last night. Officers arrived on the scene to find a car stuck on the railroad tracks just east of Broadway and the train approaching. The driver of the car managed to exit the vehicle to safety as the train struck the car, spinning it around and off the east side of the tracks. There were no injuries and no other passengers in the car. The rail company is also investigating the crash. Wow. Well, Joplin authorities are investigating a 2-vehicle crash that happened on 32nd and Texas Avenue last night. One of the vehicles turned onto 32nd Street and was struck by an eastbound car. An older man was transported to Freeman West with severe injuries. Former President Donald Trump is back on the campaign trail. Before holding his first Pennsylvania rally since the attempted assassination, he took questions at a meeting of the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the story.
In front of a room packed with journalists, a panel with former President Donald Trump got off to a rocky start when he was asked about past comments.
You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
The former president spoke about topics like the border, crime, and the economy.
I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
Another testy exchange came when he was asked about some Republicans calling the vice president a DEI candidate.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be.
Trump's appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists convention did cause some backlash from members and even protests outside the Chicago venue.
We want to tell him that he's not welcome here in Chicago.
Trump criticized Vice President Harris for not attending the event. The NABJ says both candidates were invited, but Harris could only commit to a Zoom session at a later date. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, tensions are rising in the Middle East after a top Hamas leader was killed in an airstrike in Tehran this morning. Ismail Haniyeh, who led the group's political wing from exile in Qatar, was a key negotiator for a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Israel. No one claimed responsibility for the attack, but Iran and Hamas accused Israel. Iran's supreme leader vowed revenge against Israel over the killing. Well, a bit later, getting those last-minute deals.
The summer travel season is coming to a close, but travelers still have a few opportunities to take a vacation. I'm Jerry Willis. I'll have all the details and the deals coming up.
Well, of course, it was hot outside for us today, upper 90s actual temperature, but those heat indices are way up there during the afternoon. Looks pretty good right now. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam, downtown Joplin. All right, look at our temps. Still, we're seeing mid to upper 80s to lower 90s. once you get out across southeastern Kansas. 7th and Rangeline sitting at 88. Southerly winds 5 to 10. It's been breezy over the past couple days, and we still have heat indices right now anywhere from low 90s to near 100. It feels like 104 in Yates Center, Kansas at almost 10 p.m. The winds kind of breezy, but they are dying down just a little bit, and we still have the excessive heat warnings in effect. Kansas, Oklahoma tomorrow. Everybody else is under heat advisories as the heat index just a smidge cooler for us tomorrow. All right, we look good, but you can see the boxes popping up to our north. Severe thunderstorm watches as we're watching this big band of showers and thunderstorms, a lot of severe weather. Tracking east, but it has developed far enough south, just west of Wichita, that we will get some scattered showers in here later on tonight. You can see the severe thunderstorm warnings from Topeka, Lawrence, just west of Kansas City. But our batch is mainly going to be what is going on out here. We are going to get some stronger storms in here later on tonight, but I think most of them are going to stay along the north of I-44 as this wave kind of dips through the region. All right, let me take you through time. Here come the storms. Heaviest stays to our north, but we will get some stronger ones. Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute, Iola, down to Parsons, Fort Scott, and then diving to the I-44 corridor by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So it could be a little bit loud areas along the north of I-44. This rules out some hit and miss storms to start the day, and a slight chance we could get a pop-up afternoon storm, but most of us in the afternoon, hot and humid. 96 in Stockton, 98 in Miami, Chanute 97, Bentonville 97 degrees. Tomorrow night, a few hit and miss storms in our southern counties, so this will be along the south of I-44. And then as we go into Friday, still hot, but the humidity drops a little bit and the temperatures back off by about 5 degrees or so. Thursday day planner 78 to start, 91 by noon, high temp, 98 degrees. Heat indices are going to be up there. Again, I think most of us 106 to about 112 in our western counties, but they come down on Friday. The humidity is going to be better. Still hot. Heat indices into the middle 90s, but better than what we have seen. Still hot over the weekend, but humidity lower on Saturday. Then it starts to creep back in on Sunday. High temps, upper 90s. And then, hello, here we go again, near triple digits. Here's Monday, Tuesday. Most of next week, we're going to be dealing with those very high heat indices again. Alert day Thursday due to the heat advisory in effect. 94 Friday, 93 Saturday. We actually get an overnight low Saturday morning down to 68, which is going to feel pretty nice. And then those temperatures slowly climb once again next week. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of rain tonight. It'd be nice to get a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe it'll just like mentally make it feel better at least.
Mentally is always good.
Yeah. Well, at least as long as it's not like hot water running coming down.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Doug.
You bet.
Well, coming up in sports, the Riverton 12 and under All-Stars head to the Little League regional tournament in Indiana. Plus, the Joplin Outlaws begin their final homestand of the regular season. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
The Joplin Outlaws return home to Joe Becker Stadium this evening after a road trip where they won 3 and lost 3. Tonight begins their final homestand of the regular season. It's First Responders Night at Joe Becker Stadium as the Outlaws take on the Texarkana Rhinos. Joplin firefighter and EMT Colby Tucker fires a strike at tonight's first pitch, as does Joplin Sports Hall of Famer Bob Tucker on his 86th birthday. Now the Outlaws start Reed Woodlands on the mound, even though he's a position player, and he gets a strikeout to begin his night in the first, then another in the second inning, but Joplin falls behind 3-1. Brett Sarwinski starts a 2-out rally though in the third with a bloop single into left center field. Next batter, Cole Hill. He gets a base hit right back up the middle into center. Our bases are loaded now for Will Doherty. He puts a charge into one to right, but it's lined directly to the Rhinos outfielder. That ends the inning. In the fourth, Texarkana adds 2 more with a home run to right field. Gets worse from there. Just not the Outlaws' night. Game still in progress, but they trail 14-3. Early this morning, the Riverton 12U All-Stars load up their cars and begin their trip to Whitestown, Indiana, to participate in the Little League Regional Championship. They'll be facing the state champs from Iowa in their first round game on Friday afternoon and are excited to play on national television.
It's been an honor, actually. They're a good group of kids. They love baseball and they love to compete. And I would hope to coach them forever, but I can't do that.
Over to Major League Baseball, Royals at the White Sox. Already up 1-0, and Freddie Fermin adds to that lead. Hammers a pitch to deep left and gone. It's 3-0 Royals. We go ahead to the 5th inning when Salvador Perez comes up to the plate. He hits one to a similar spot deep in left center. That gets down though at the wall. It's an RBI double. Kansas City leads 5-3. Now to the 9th. Royals lead by 3. Bobby Witt Jr. gets the inning started with an infield single. That's another multi-hit game for him. He leads the majors in that category. Next batter, Vinny Pasquantino, and this ball had no chance of staying in the yard. 2-run homer. It's now 8-3 Royals. They would add 2 more later in the 9th inning. And the White Sox entered the day with a 16-game losing streak. The Royals turn that into 17. They dominate on the road. Final score 10-3. Now to the Cardinals. They're at home against the Rangers trying to get a series victory. Michael McGreevy makes his MLB debut on the mound. He gets a strikeout in the 2nd, then in the 3rd gets another one on Travis Jankowski. Later in the 4th, Marcus Semien goes down McGreevy goes 7 innings, allowing 1 run. He gets 3 strikeouts. In the 5th, Cards up 3-0. Alec Burleson hits one into center. That drops down for a single, 2-run score. It's now 5-0. Now later in the inning, Tommy Pham, who the Cards just got back at the deadline, lines one deep to the wall. That's a 2-run double. Next batter, Cardinals still not done, Brendan Donovan. He drives one up the middle. That finds grass in shallow center. It's an RBI single. Pham scores. Rangers have to go to the bullpen early for the 2nd night in a row. Cardinals win it 10-1. That's it for sports. We're back after this.
Summer may be winding down, but travelers still have a chance to score a deal on a last-minute vacation. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis has more.
If you're still in the market for a summer vacation, you're in luck. The travel industry has boosted capacity and are competing for your dollar. Of course, travelers with the best options are people who are flexible on when they will travel and where they will go. Listen.
There's always opportunity last minute to book, especially in the summertime or as the summer starts to wind down and, the kids are going back to college and getting ready for school.
Check out Coolcations, says Twiddle. Places like Canada, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and Quebec are less busy from June to September. Others recommend the West, Colorado Springs, the Pacific Northwest, and Oregon as great opportunities. The same theory applies if you're interested in traveling to Europe. Experts advise picking dupe locations, that is, destinations that are lesser known but resemble popular rivals. Instead of going to Lake Como in Italy, for example, pick Lake Garda, which has similar amenities but is cheaper. Research, of course, is everything. Our experts recommended using Max My Point if you're using credit card points to travel, and be aware new award availabilities drop all the time, often at the very last minute. A free extension to Google called Points Path shows awards rates and what airlines they're available on. You can use Google's Flight Explorer map to research the cheapest destinations available on the dates you plan to travel. Now, with gas prices down 2.5% year over year, another great option is the road trip. Some hotels are luring event attendees with special deals. Concert goers, for example, are getting special packages in some cities. It's not just gas prices that are down. Airfares are off 5% year over year, and experts say budget hotel prices are soft. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Well, horror movies sets a record and a first look at a new animated film on Netflix. Those stories and more next. A classic mystery thriller returns to theaters for a milestone anniversary, and another concert film is coming to theaters. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has those stories and more in the Hollywood Nation.
Her parents are monsters.
A first look at Spellbound, Longlegs scores big, and Usher heads to the big screen in the Hollywood Nation.
Usher!
Usher is the next music star to release a concert film in theaters. Usher Rendezvous in Paris was filmed during his 8-concert performance in the City of Lights last year and will feature many of his chart-topping hits. It will play for a limited time starting September 12th. Seth Meyers is bringing the laughs to HBO. The late-night talk show host will release a new comedy special this fall. The show was filmed in front of a live audience at the Vic Theater in Chicago.
Longlegs.
Neon's horror thriller Longlegs has set a record. According to Deadline, the film is now the studio's highest-grossing film of all time, topping the Oscar-winning Parasite with $58.6 million in its third week at the domestic box office. It also tops A24's Talk to Me as the highest-grossing indie horror movie of the past 10 years. Alfred Hitchcock's classic mystery thriller Rear Window will return to theaters August 25th and 28th in honor of its 70th anniversary. It centers on a wheelchair-bound photographer who becomes convinced one of his neighbors committed a murder.
This is your king and queen.
Netflix drops an original fairy tale in today's First Looks. The animated adventure Spellbound follows a young girl on a quest to save her family and kingdom after a mysterious spell transforms her parents into monsters. It premieres November 22nd.
Dad, put him down.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of the giant panda Ding Ding celebrating her 7th birthday at a Moscow zoo in Russia. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.